Nikki Quinn, closer to home, a Superior boy charged with attempted murder after allegedly firing at deputies has pleaded not guilty, paving the way for a trial. 14-year-old Carsen Petersen appeared shackled and in an orange jumpsuit in the Douglas County Courthouse today. This was his first appearance in adult court after a judge ruled he would be tried as one back in October. Petersen is facing multiple felony charges for an incident that happened in May of last year in the town of Superior when he was 13 years old. His grandmother called law enforcement on him because he was yelling, throwing things, and had used gas to start a fire next to a tree. When deputies responded, they say Petersen shot at them. No officers were struck, and they managed to take Petersen into custody without returning fire. There was very little conversation during today's hearing, and Petersen himself didn't say anything. But today's not guilty plea means the case will move toward a trial that hasn't been scheduled yet, but Petersen's due back in court for a status update in May. We also learned today that Petersen is now being held in a youth facility in Indiana. Court records show before that he was being held in South Dakota at a county jail's juvenile detention facility. That was because Petersen couldn't post his $1 million bail, and Wisconsin state law doesn't allow someone under 15 in a county jail. But in December, that South Dakota facility informed Douglas County they couldn't house Petersen anymore. County leaders say no other facility in Wisconsin would accept him, which is how Petersen ended up in Indiana.